Hello and welcome to Your True Potential. My name is Dan Lier, America's coach, and I'm here to talk today about something very exciting as a parent. Raising leaders, raising champions. And today we're going to address two subjects that have an impact on our kids being their very best. Discipline, along with health and nutrition. So let me ask you a question. Do you know anyone who struggles with how to discipline their kids? I mean, this is a hot topic because in my working with people all over the country, parents with all types of backgrounds, they really struggle with this subject. And what about health and nutrition? Man, in today's age of fast food and video games, how do we create success habits for our kids? Well, over the next 30 minutes, I'm going to share with you just how to make that happen. First, let's start with discipline. Man, this is an interesting topic. I mean, I've interviewed hundreds of parents and virtually all of them believe that discipline is a necessary part of being a successful parent. So how about you? I mean, the question really is what's your definition of discipline? And are you implementing what's necessary for you to develop your kids into champions? Now, here's what I've seen as a parent. If there's extreme discipline in the home when the parent was a child, there's an inverse relationship between the parent's childhood and what the parent is practicing with their kids today. And what I mean by that is if you had a very strict and disciplined childhood, then you tend to be more relaxed and liberal as a parent. And obviously I'm generalizing here because I've seen it go the other way as well, meaning the parent with a very strict upbringing duplicating that for their children at home. Yet my experience is, more often than not, is that parents with a very strict environment growing up tend to overcompensate by being a bit soft with their kids, if you will. And please, let me be very clear here. I'm not here to say what's right or what's wrong. I'm just here to share some ideas that I picked up from very successful parents and ideas that are working well in my home as well. I've seen numerous family situations where parents struggle with disciplining their kids because they don't want to make their child feel bad, or they don't want to be perceived as a mean parent or be strict like their parents were. Now, let me be very clear here. This is a self-esteem issue. I mean, parents who don't want to make their kids feel bad or parents who want to be liked by their child, they really need to work on their self-esteem. We've got to remember that kids have unconditional love for you as a parent. What we need to talk about is the mental shift from being liked or being a friend to developing a future leader. I mean, as parents, it's our job to develop our children into young people who can think for themselves, someone who understands discipline, hard work, and the law of sowing and reaping. Now, let's talk about the big picture. Let's say, hypothetically, you have a 16-year-old son and his name's Johnny. And Johnny's going to hang out with some friends after Friday night's football game. He's in 10th grade, and as he's walking out the door, you let him know you want him home by 11 p.m. He acknowledges your request, and he walks out the door. Now, fast forward, if you will, and Johnny comes home at midnight. Yet because you've had a strict upbringing and you were punished when you were a kid, you don't want to make Johnny feel bad, so you just tell him that he needs to be home on time next time. Or even worse, you just let him slide and don't say anything. Now, here's my follow-up question. What time is he going to be home next Friday night? That's right, 1 a.m. or whenever he wants because you set the tone. You made it okay for him not to recognize your request. Whether it's a simple situation like that or always bailing them out with money, the parents aren't doing the kids any favors. I mean, they think they are by coming to their rescue or being their friend, but the fact of the matter is we're laying down a foundation for failure. Lack of discipline equals lack of success. You see, it's not really about coming home late after the football game. It's about understanding discipline and respect, and then how that will continue to grow in either a positive manner or a negative manner. It'll affect his career, his relationships, and his overall success as a person. The example of Johnny breaking curfew is a no-brainer. But what's the difference in that situation and telling your 10-year-old to clean his room and brush his teeth and they don't? Absolutely nothing. See, anytime a parent allows their child to slip, they're setting up that child for failure. Now let's talk about the psychology of discipline. I mean, I believe it's extremely important to communicate with our kids starting at a very young age. See, my daughter Zoe's 8, and she's very clear about rules and consequences and the reason. I mean, here's what I mean. We owe it to our kids to give them the best shot at success, and there's a direct relationship between self-discipline and success as an adult. Well, it's time for a break. When we come back, I'm going to share with you my 3-step strategy for discipline. This is something you gotta see. We'll be right back.